start a debate in this country. People are going to look into your past and bring up all this shit. Welcome, everybody. It is the 2024 debate.
Oh, boy.
We had a debate in 2023.
This is true.
Yeah, we had the Kanye debate in 2023.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is our 2024 debate.
This is a nice touch. This
Yeah.
is a good idea, Jeff. It's all come together.
Yeah.
I like this. Okay.
So
Hey, it works.
we decided, we took last week off because we live in Chicago, and I don't know if you know what was going on, but shit was wild here. Like,
It was wild.
and in the spirit of what was happening here, we thought we would do a debate. So our very own Jeff will introduce us to the debate after
I came up with the idea where we should debate our favorite years in hip hop.
Absolutely. So
at least when we were alive.
Yeah, at least like while we were alive.
Experienced it.
We could go into like.
So we went with.
We could do the parameters.
We're going
with the news. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Purvis. You want to run us to the news?
Absolutely. Full disclosure: we are recording early this week because we are busy people, but we don't have too much news to go over. Finally, Big Sean is here after the delay of his album. He is now releasing "The Better Me Than You." I did see the cover album. There's no music that he makes where he needs to be floating in the air like that. But we move on.
Yeah, I'm actually he makes.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. It's been years, so we're here for that. We finally have Doechii. We've been talking about this.
I'm excited for this. I've been listening to a lot of the teaser singles. It's good.
Yeah, everything sounds amazing. The videos, she has videos for the singles that came out look amazing.
Did a huge deep dive this past week. I think it looks very good. I think it has massive potential. TDE is on a roll this year. West Coast undefeated.
Oh yeah, no, they're going crazy, and the debate didn't help. they are running rapid.
Oh yeah, the beef just like set fuel to the fire. Yeah, like.
But I mean, they're perfectly on time with their schedule. So look, as long as at the end of the year we get some version of a Black Hippie album, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have that coming out. We also have Destroy Lonely. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I've been having a weird run of Destroy Lonely recently. I've been listening to a lot of his music, so I'm sure
almost died at his set at Summer Smash. I almost died at his set because it was so wild.
I'm good.
Yeah. So I'm sure the kids will love this. But anyway,
I mean, it was delayed, so
yeah.
Oh yeah. So I mean, honestly, I'm here for it. For those who listen to that music, I'm sure this will be great. On the exact opposite part of the scale, we have a legend, someone who's been here forever. John Legend is releasing an album in 2024.
Yeah.
So
that's wild.
It's kind of wild times.
Wild times. Wild times indeed.
Yes. Besides that, we do have Chance the Rapper. His song 3333 that he released, I think originally on Instagram, is now on streaming.
Yeah.
About time. Yeah.
Drop the album. Just drop the album.
Where's the album?
He needs to.
And then he yelled at his fans for saying drop the album, said drop Starline.
Do you remember
sounds about right.
Remember when Child of God came out on episode 6 of this podcast? When there was 2 of us and no video?
Episode 1 of this podcast was about Chance the Rapper, and he still hasn't released the project.
The most popular episode to this day. Like, naturally, that's not true, but like,
this podcast is as old as since his last release. But yeah, funny enough, I did listen to this song. I'll go over this super briefly. He actually touches on the Minnesota show that he just did, and how like people weren't really messing with him. So I feel like he has a chip on his shoulder. I'm excited.
I mean,
something needs to happen.
I hope the chip on his shoulder just results in a good album, right? But it's like, that chip is of your own design. You're the one who made the "I Love My Wife" album, like not us.
Who no longer has a wife. Moving on.
Before we do move on, it's one of those things where he's either going to release something real good and real compelling that, like, accounts for all the time and makes up, or he's gonna go full like Eminem kamikaze route of like, y'all didn't like that album, fuck you, and it's gonna be like
another one. Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be the bigger day. Like
And what's sad is that that's like a 50-50 chance. You're gonna get one of the other.
I honestly, that's what I'm worried about.
And to be honest with you, the fact that the singles leading up to it have been good do not deter me. Do not make me feel like this is.
We've been here before.
Because like, remember the singles before the big day were really good.
They were amazing.
And then it wasn't.
Yeah, and then it wasn't. So it's like, I feel like he's in this impossible situation, and I think the good news and the bad news is that there's only one way out of it.
Drop the album.
Yeah, exactly.
Drop the album, literally.
No, right. We'll be here. We'll be here. I'll listen to it. Could it possibly? Like, on one hand, like, I do, like, when you guys say 50-50, like, it's either going to flop again and then he's toast. Agreed. Totally think that's, like...
And that would be the last one. That's the last one.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
But, like, at the same time, I don't think it could possibly be worse than the big day. Is that the thing? Right? Like,
knock on wood, dude. Come on.
Like,
don't jinx it. Don't push it.
I don't think. Although, to be fair, I remember 2 weeks before the big day, I texted Purvis and I was like, "Hey, Purvis, what if it's bad?" And you were like, and he was
I
like,
never recovered.
Yeah.
I have yet to financially recover from this.
Oh my god.
And he was like, "Don't even talk about it."
That's so funny.
Pretty sure the week of, I disappeared. I wasn't on social media. I wasn't doing anything. I was in my room crying.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anywho, moving on. We did
cool fun thing. Cool fun thing happens.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Last week, since we weren't here, we didn't cover it. But Travis Scott has finally, well, I don't know if you want to say re-release, but Days Before Rodeo is finally on streaming platforms. And Jesus Christ, my feed nonstop has been Travis Scott content.
Yes.
Nothing really like toxic or annoying, luckily, but it seems like a lot of high praise. A lot of people were able to go back to it, finally listen to it. I'm not gonna lie, I listened to this album nonstop. I did not text Brandon everything, but I have been blowing up Jasper's phone with it.
I know. I
deserve.
I revisited it too.
Which I'm thankful for, and that's all I'm going to
opinion redacted. I am not in a safe space to share my thoughts on Days Before Rodeo. Like,
well, what was cool, we actually got a music video with Drugs You Should Try It.
I thought this was sick as fuck. I think doing a video to an old fan favorite song is a thing.
Fire.
I cannot believe it took this long for an artist to do. I don't know if I've ever. This is a thing I've always thought about, and like it's kind of like a how the sausage is made thing with music videos, where like once you learn that like music videos basically only exist to promote an album, the music, like the production and the distribution budget comes out of like the ad money for a project, right? So that's why like you'll never see a music video to like you'll never see people go back and do music videos because it's just like for the same reason you don't do commercials for products you don't sell anymore. Right, like, so to actually see someone do this, it's fucking sick to me. I think this is great, you know? And like, controversial opinion, I think Drugs You Should Try is an okay song. Like, yeah, like, I don't think it's like, it's not a bad song. It's not a bad song. I don't think it's like ass, but like, you know, like, I think it's an okay song, but I think it's a fan favorite, and I think going back and making the music video for it was sick.
Yes. I was going to say, if there's any song on that album that needed a music video that didn't have one already, it was 100% this song. Yeah. So it makes sense.
And that was what I was wondering, was this a new music video, which apparently it is.
It is, yeah. You can,
you can
tell. It's a new
like,
music video. Yeah, you can tell because it's
quality,
the visual references to Utopia and everything, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, I didn't even know, like, maybe this could be, like, a re-release of an old video because some of them, like, aren't available anymore, you know?
Yeah. Also, I think the way he looks in it, like, his hair is, like, the same length as the Utopia videos, and he's got more tattoos, like, stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say, the only one I can recall that blew up back then was Mamacita. Yeah. And, like, you can tell the quality of the video is
Don't Play also.
Yeah.
Had
yeah.
with Big Sean, which is, you know, It's a video.
Yeah.
It's a video. Look at the improvement. We'd love to see it.
I do love Mamacita though. I do love that song.
Great song. Good video. Really good video.
I've never seen the
I
video.
was at the
I will
gym
watch the
where
video.
he run through some walls. Jesus Christ. But anyway.
Yeah, super good. Worth it.
Onto the actual news. I'm gonna be honest, what's the Troy Avenue stuff? I'm lost. Jeff,
he got sentenced. So he was part of a shooting in 2016, and he got a year in prison, and now he did 6 months, so he got out.
Oh, bet. Okay.
So
hey, I can support that. I didn't even know that was going on.
Yeah, I have no idea what this is.
And then Little Baby was arrested? Jesus
this
Christ.
I was aware of. Yeah, Little Baby was arrested in Las Vegas for an illegal gun charge.
Classic.
Yeah, it was right after his show in Vegas.
Yeah, classic.
Right after.
Classic shenanigans. Yeah.
You would think at this point, everyone should be aware of how to stay out of trouble. Like,
right.
You know.
Yeah. Like this will be a small thing. I think like most rappers get like this charge eventually. Like Vic Mensa got this. You know, so. But yeah, no, it is wild.
one of those things.
One of
It's
those
part
things,
of the culture, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's been kind of a week for news. It seems like the biggest thing that happened was the Days of Fourth Rodeo re-release last week, which, pretty good time to drop that, I'd say.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been a low period at the end of the summer. I'm surprised
it
they
always
haven't
is though.
Yeah, I guess so.
Sometimes you get like a cult classic at the end of the summer.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah, people drop their early summer album and then they tour for like the duration.
I was gonna say they're getting that summer hit, the summer money.
Yeah, and then anything they want top of mind for the Grammys, they save for the fall.
True, yeah.
Yeah, even though who gives a shit, but like
it's a thing.
It's a thing. Okay, are we doing schools in session? Or are we going straight into this debate? Are we doing straight debate night?
Straight into
Let's
the
hit the
debate.
debate, yeah
because we're going to be yelling.
Let's party.
Okay.
I don't know if we'll be yelling.
Yeah,
I will be. No. I have a list of insults.
Oh my god.
Like ethnic and otherwise. Yikes.
I was gonna say slurs, but I didn't want to imply that I would call Purvis a certain thing.
Oh.
I don't think you would do that.
No, literally never have. Like,
just Rachel's gonna bust in the room.
Just absent right to the side of the head.
Kool-Aid man.
Exactly. You guys know. Like I'm not exactly. Like,
yes, this is true. But we decided to debate. I'm honestly surprised it took this long. But we are debating our favorite years in hip hop. And favorite years just in music, I feel like in general.
Yeah.
We have the old heads, Jeff and Brandon, doing 2013 versus Jasper and I doing 2016.
Yes.
Which I gotta say, two pretty good options. I'm not gonna lie.
Good options. There's a lot of good years. There's a lot of good years, but I'm happy with our choices. I'm very happy.
We had some parameters where we had to go with. Yeah, we had to be at least 18 when these were released.
Yeah, because we didn't want to have like two like
you don't want a high school version of us?
Yeah, I don't want us to debate like, oh, what was better, 1997 or couldn't It's like, okay, like
yeah, it wasn't gonna work. I wasn't really.
I was 5 and 12. Like it's.
I couldn't tell you. I was eating paste.
It's like right. Like, I was playing Crash Bandicoot. Like
exactly.
Should we I guess start off with our top albums, because I feel like what would naturally happen when we're comparing years is that when we're going over the top albums, we're gonna get artists that lap.
Yeah,
and so,
these 2 years have a lot of artists that lap.
Exactly,
and then it's like like what is, and then I think we should define like, are we going like what just straight up like what is the better album, or are we doing like what is like the more significant album?
I think significant is more important long term.
Yes, I'd say significant.
Yes, but that's high. But the thing is, that's as highly subjective as what's better. Like,
oh yeah, it's all subjective, I guess.
But I agree. I think we should go with like what is like more significant,
the lasting impact of.
So, do we want to like pick like just a handful of the albums and like run it down?
Go bar for bar.
Yeah. Okay. Who wants to go first? Who wants to go first?
I mean,
who's gonna throw down? Who's gonna throw down their first album?
I feel like to start off, I don't want to start off too hot, but I think there's an artist that did release both years, and I think it's fair to compare these two albums. So I want to start off with Chance the Rapper.
Oh,
and I'm gonna do Coloring Book versus your Acid Rap, I believe.
Yeah.
If I'm correct.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I think this is a great comparison.
I'm correct.
Yeah, that's like one of the more significant. To be honest with you, when Jeff was like, "Hey, we should do 2013," I was like, "Yeah, I agree," because I thought about like one of the major release dates that we're going to talk about. I thought about Because the Internet. Completely forgot about Acid Rap. Like, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, debatably the best mixtape of all time. Like,
it is one of the best mixtapes of all time. You're
and like,
wrong.
and that's
one
like,
of them.
and that's why I would immediately like. First off, I liked Coloring Book when it came out. I always thought Acid Rap was superior in every way, and have never wavered on that fact. And don't get me wrong, Coloring Book's really good, and there was Coloring Day and that whole thing, right? But like, Acid Rap was kind of a pinnacle for not just Chance, but for a lot of Chicago artists. And it kind of like reverberated around the city in a way that like the Big Day, like, don't get me wrong, the Big Day was still great. And it's still like the Coloring Day, like, festival was awesome. But like, you know, a festival's one thing, but putting on Saba, putting on No Name, that's huge.
It's true.
Yeah.
Look, it's a good argument. And that's what I was thinking about as well, because the main thing for Coloring Book that I was thinking was the festival. The first time having a festival at the Sox Stadium, and then the artists that he brought in. Kanye pulled up, Tyler the Creator pulled up, Lil Uzi Vert pulled up.
Yeah, the festival's great. Don't get me wrong.
It was crazy. So that was the main thing for me. I think I will say my favorite album obviously is Acid Rap. There's no denying that. But I do think significant in terms of like his career himself and like just a moment out of it on a large
Acid
scale.
Rap. It's Acid Rap because that's what got him to blow up.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. Coloring Book was big enough when like he was already.
He wouldn't have those features if it wasn't for Acid Rap.
Right. Yeah. Because you
think he would have Lil Wayne as a features? Like, he delayed the release of that because he was waiting for a Lil Wayne feature.
Yeah,
he wouldn't have that Lil Wayne feature without Acid Rap.
Right. Yeah.
And like, the project with the Lil Wayne feature. I'm just saying.
Granted, but like,
if you're gonna bring up the feature, we're the one with the feature.
Yeah, I get it, but like,
I'd rather have it.
First
without
off,
the feature.
I think if we're talking about actual strength of features, I think Acid Rap dog walks Coloring.
You think so?
100%. You have the Twista and Vic Mensa feature on Cocoa Butter Kisses.
Twista is good.
You have BJ the Chicago Kid on Pusha Man with one of the best hooks of all time. You have the
Childish Gambino.
The Childish Gambino one, which is definitely the biggest name feature on that album, which he only got because he was touring with him. You had Action Bronson and Ab Soul, which, if in 2013 your biggest features are Action Bronson and Ab Soul, you have great taste.
You do.
But it's not, you know, I think those two were like much smaller artists than Childish Gambino at the time.
Yes.
You know, you have No Name, Saba, an insane list of features for Acid Rap. Are there bigger names on Coloring Day? Sure. Are they better features? I disagree. Right? I love the song
Mixtape. Logic. Yeah.
I love the song Mixtape, right? Because once again, we're not saying like one is bad and the other is good. We're saying one is better. I love the song Mixtape. I like both of those features. But full stop, I think every feature on Acid Rap is better than Lil Yachty's and Young Thug's features on Mixtape. A song I like, and I like those features. So like,
yeah, I understand.
Yeah, like, so I think it's pretty clear. I think another thing we should have figured out before we started this is how we're gonna judge.
Oh yeah. I mean,
it's just a debate. It's just a debate.
We should have Isaac on next week. Make Isaac watch this, and he can pass. He can pass his judgment on every single thing that we bring up. Like,
I'm pretty sure he decided the last debate.
I'm pretty sure he did too. So let's have him be the judge. So you should text him when we're done. Anyway.
I would also like to say Merry Christmas, Little Mama came out in 2016. Just throw that in there.
Okay, that's
some more share.
That's not bad.
Hey, that's a classic Christmas mixtape.
That's not
I play
nothing.
that every Christmas.
Oh, Salt on the Street, Tim's on My Feet, dude.
Dude.
You got us there.
Christmas. I don't care.
You got us there. You got us there. The Christmas
But
vibe.
to rebuttal,
Do you have a Christmas album?
no. But to rebuttal, we had a Vince Staples and Mac Miller mixtape, but it was Vince Staples and Larry Fisherman. So
Yeah.
that's our rebuttal.
That is a good pull.
Yeah.
If we're gonna bring up Mac Miller, we had the Divine Feminine.
Yeah, but
we had watching movies with the sound off.
Yeah, we had watching movies with the sound off, which this is the album I was thinking of when we said, are we talking better or are we talking more significant, right?
Okay.
And it's like, because I definitely think I like the Divine Feminine. It is not my I love the Divine Feminine. I love that project. It is not my project. Yeah, it's a great project. It's not my favorite Mac Miller project. Watching movies with the sound off is. But I think there are arguments for the Divine Feminine. I do not think there's an argument that the Divine Feminine is a more significant piece in Mac Miller's discography, because watching movies with the sound off was the pivot.
I agree.
You know, like I actually like have softened on my opinion that Mac Miller's early stuff didn't age well. I think Kids has aged well. I think Macadelic aged very well. That's going to come up later. But
Macadelic.
Yeah, you'll see.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean,
yeah, but I think like those projects have aged well, right? But like, I think Best Day Ever and Blue Side Park haven't.
Yeah.
And watching movies with the sound off is the pivot. We would not have gotten the Divine Feminine. We would not have gotten, Good AM. We would have not gotten, especially Swimming in Circles. Without the pivot that was made on, honestly, both watching movie with the sound off and like his pivot towards like being a more production focused artist with shit like the Vince Staples Larry Fisherman project that Jeff brought up. So look, I don't think you're crazy if you prefer the Divine Feminine to either of these projects, but in terms of significance, I don't think there's a competition.
I think that's fair.
Like, but give your debate, and we will let good Judge Isaac.
Good Judge Isaac
Render his.
I will say, I think I'm the one that wrote the Mac Miller one. I do agree. I like watching a movie with the sound off. Don't get me wrong. I think they're both great albums. The reason I like the Divine Feminine is that it's like the one true R&B album that he like actually dives into that genre.
Yeah.
So it sets itself apart. But yeah, significance, you got it. You got it. I agree.
Okay, cool.
Agreed.
Why don't you set the tone? Pick one now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, building off Mac Miller, should we go to his friend Schoolboy Q?
Yeah, why don't we do that?
So we have Blank Face. Did he drop something in 2013? I believe.
No, he was one of he started breaking out in 2013. He had something come out in 12, I believe.
Yeah, Habits and Contradictions
came out in 12.
Yeah,
I believe.
Because
he was part of the freshman class, I believe.
Yep. And Oxymoron was 2014. I was off.
2014 was Oxymoron. I remember.
I thought that was going to be the two that competed, but we have Blank Face, which I think is.
No, we do not have a Schoolboy Q, but Blank Face is good. But I do think Blank Face is. I don't know, because we don't have like an opposite Schoolboy Q album.
It's hard to. But I understand.
But yeah, no, Blank Face is very good. I gotta be honest.
And you get that part. That was a summer banger.
That was a banger.
Ooh, that hit.
Oh my God. Okay.
So what's your counter then? If you don't have a Schoolboy, what's your counter? What do you want to bring to the table?
I mean, we had a Jay-Z album drop.
Magna Carta,
Magna Carta, Holy Grail.
No.
And you know,
this was a moment.
That kind of collides with the Justin Timberlake album we had also.
Yeah, and also that sickeningly good Justin Timberlake album. Like the
2020 Experience,
the double album that came out,
really good album.
That album's one of the best, probably the best pop album by a male artist of that decade.
In a long time.
Even the deluxe holds up.
Yeah. Oh, the deluxe holds up. Like that is an obscenely good one. Yeah. So I would say like.
I agree.
And I don't think, because 444 came out in 2017. So 2016,
yes. 1 year off. But you know it did come out in 2016 that's connected to Jay-Z?
What?
Beyonce and Lemonade. Mic drop.
That's a good one.
Yeah, yep.
That's a good one.
Rolling Stones' #1 album of 2016.
Yeah, that was probably one of the highlights. And There's nothing you can compete with.
Yeah, no, I don't have. Yeah, I don't have that one. Wait, didn't the Beyonce self-titled come out in 2013? But yeah,
It did.
Yeah, the Beyonce
Ooh.
self-titled.
But it's still
No, I agree.
just the thing that Lemonade was
I
was
can't.
just like. Yeah.
I think Beyonce has other albums that could, like, if we were talking 2022, like,
might have some more
yeah,
competition.
you might have more competition, but yeah, no. And the Beyonce self-titled is very good, but no,
It is.
Lemonade
All of Beyonce is good.
Okay, so I'm gonna go. This is an album, but I also think this is more of like an event, a thing that happened that I think has definitely shaped the face of hip hop right now, especially like who are considered like at the top of it. And it's the formation of Run the Jewels and their first album, Run the Jewels. The distribution, giving it out for free, that was insane. A lot of artists have copied that going forward or have done self-distribution. And 2, catapulted Killer Mike into where he is now. We do not get, Killer Mike was making great music before this. We
don't get Michael.
Yeah, you don't get Michael without Run the Jewels. So you don't get
not.
anything post Run the Jewels. Like, without, this collaboration between Killer Mike and LP, which I think has gone on to be the best duo streak since Outkast. I don't think there's any debate here. Right?
You got it.
We have a counter for this though.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you're the RTJ fan. Do you prefer 1 or 3?
3 is 2016.
Well, we're talking about
3 is based off the Donald Trump election.
Sure, but I don't think that's as significant as quite literally putting Killer Mike into the culture.
That's
my thing.
I would agree with that.
What is the better album? Yeah, you got me. You checkmated me on what's the better album. But in terms of like what
is a balance,
like a much bigger impact, like low key, I would say Run the Jewels 3 is probably their least impactful release. Just because Run the Jewels 2 actually like ran up a bunch of money for Michael Brown. So there was a huge like actual real world significance to that. And then Run the Jewels 4 coming out suddenly to coincide with the uprisings around the country, I feel like is still even like another thing. So yeah, I think that's a counter, but my thing is I think the creation of Run the Jewels is a bigger achievement than Run the Jewels 3. But
I do have a take.
Here's your take.
It's not even a take. It's just something to also consider. A certain DJ Shadow project came out in 2016 featuring the song that, in my mind, put Run the Jewels on the map from a pop culture standpoint, and that's Nobody Speak.
Yeah.
So that's another thing just to consider is like, yeah, in terms of like the formation and the influence, but another project that really catapulted them into the mainstream did come out in 2016.
I mean, that
always song was everywhere.
Yeah, but so was the video to Close Your Eyes.
Sure.
That was everywhere. And granted, that was tied into like what was going on at the time. It wasn't like a cultural moment in and of itself, and certainly wasn't as a commercializable song. But yeah, to me, like that is true. That was like their biggest single at the time.
The video for that with all the UN politicians beating the shit out of each other. Classic.
Okay, so I think. Do you guys want to go? I think it's your turn to go.
Is it our turn? Yeah. Jasper, do you want to pull one out of the list here?
I'm just gonna piss everybody off. Well, actually, we have a choice. Do we want to be mad about? Fuck. Do we want to be mad about somebody we like or somebody we don't like?
We don't like, because I know what direction you're going.
All right, we got Life of Pablo and we got Yeezus. Two of the heaviest hitting albums of the 2010s.
Yeah,
that's a big battle.
This is a huge battle, God. Right? So first off, just gonna put this out there. This is just a question that I think will answer this question.
Okay.
Which version of Life of Pablo?
The final one. I would say.
Well,
just because the others aren't available.
Yeah, I get it, but like, do you see my point? Like,
yes, 100%. 100%.
Not Yeezus.
Everything post Yeezus, yeah.
I'll give
not
you
Yeezus.
I mean, we had Seth Rogen in a music video with James Franco.
That was insane.
Look, I'm taking Life of Pablo over Yeezus every day. I'm sorry. Life of Pablo, I think, is just so much better.
I think the thing about one, I think we're talking once again, substantial, as opposed to quality. Which I would take Yeezus over quality. I loved Yeezus on day one. think it's great.
I think Yeezus was Kanye's heyday. After that, he started.
Yeah, he started to fall down.
Losing it.
Like all the meltdown. Like Life of Pablo was the end of the party, though. That's the thing, right? Like that's when shit started getting 20. Like
no more parties in LA.
Yeah, like the Life of Pablo
Canceled
tour
the
in
tour
2017. That's when shit got wild, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And that's when the real downfall of like Kanye West began, right? So one, like I think yeah. So one, catch can on Life of Pablo. But like Yeezus,
it's certified platinum, so we got that.
And the other thing is, I think the release around Yeezus was insane because
it was so crazy.
That tour was insane. I will give you that.
Not just the tour, because one, Jeff, you didn't even put like one of the biggest things that happened in 2013 on this. I'm just realizing you didn't put the control verse.
Yeah, I was waiting. I thought you were gonna say it earlier.
Yeah,
I was gonna counter your control verse with the XXL cipher.
That doesn't count. Like,
it doesn't count. The 2016 cipher.
We'll get back to it anyway. One, the Yeezus tour, the subtle response to the control verse to announce Kendrick Lamar as your opener 5 days after he does the control verse. That's insane. That is like a megalomaniac power move by Kanye. Two, Yeezus was the biggest change in sound of his career ever. Going from My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy to Yeezus was the biggest change in sound. And I think...
Really?
Yes, 100%. Not even, nothing else comes close. 100%.
808s had an insane change from Graduation.
No, but I agree. I understand.
Insane, I don't know.
Right.
Big, sure. I'll give it, But, and then, even from 808s to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, just because it gets more, approachable does not make it not a big change. But, I think Yeezus takes it. Don't get me wrong, I like Life of Pablo, especially like once we got the final version, once he fixed Wolves. Like,
yeah.
But
you guys do have Hold My Liquor in that song.
That song goes so hard. But yeah, no, give your take. Why Life of Pablo?
So, Purvis, I've got one unless you want to go.
No, go. This is all you.
So my take, I think Yeezus is significantly the better album. I think it's more focused, and I think it has more to revisit in terms of like just quality sonics. But I think that Life of Pablo and everything that came of it in terms of the I guess just cultural outflow, the tour, the merch, the everything just was a larger moment. Generally, I think it was an album that more people were able to listen to and appreciate and accept, especially in the context in which it fit into pop music at the time, being like the trap sound and kind of distilling that. I think that Yeezus was a harder pill to swallow, and while it was very much an experience, and it felt like an experience with the tour and everything else, it didn't have the same resounding impact that something that was a little bit more, I guess, easy to digest had. And Kanye even acknowledges that on Yeezus, the chorus to the opening track, he'll give us what we need. It may not be what we want. And even though Yeezus is this excellent project, and I think it's the better album, I don't think that as of now, looking back, it had the same overall impact on the sound and on like just what people were making in the space moving forward.
You don't think so? Especially with like Travis Scott and Playboi Carti and that entire lineage, which I think very clearly calls back to Yeezus.
I think it does,
like,
but I think
more than Life of Pablo and like I think more than that.
I think that because it was like such a pure rendition of what was already like the trap sound that was emerging, I think Life of Pablo really kind of set that sound up to become the dominant force that it is now still. Even with stuff like Playboi Carti being very popular, I think a lot of the like mumble rap and trap that you have now can harken back directly to like Designer, Father Stretch My Hands, Part 2, like stuff like that.
Okay.
You get Pablo by Designer.
I think there are two things where I have a counterpoint on Yeezus as a cultural moment. Because I will concede that I think just Yeezus and Life of Pablo on their own are like cultural like Life of Pablo was a bigger moment than Yeezus just because Yeezus was weird. I will give you that.
It wasn't accepted at the time. Yeah.
However, I think the thing that I appreciate about Yeezus, and this is gonna be very subjective, but I appreciate it because it was like the last time like Kanye West was just a part of hip hop and not above it. And he was part of like a bigger hip hop moment, which was the June 18th release day, which was watching movies with the sound off, Born Sinner, and Yeezus. And that collective moment, I remember I was a fan back then. That was like really early in like my very passionate days for this. Like I remember hanging out at the hat store with Jeff and talking about these albums that day.
Yeah.
Like all three of them. Like
and this is very significant because this changed how people started or how artists started releasing music because all three of these albums got leaked before the release date.
Exactly. Crazy. And it was the combination of this release date and Beyonce's self-titled, which is why now we get new music on Friday and not Tuesday.
Who remembers the Travis Scott vine of him like going to buy them and he like looks at Born Sinner and puts it back and picks up Yeezus?
But like I remember I was working. Now, granted, I was working at a store that like played hip hop normally, but like I remember getting like an email from corporate about being able to play Mac Miller and J. Cole like on their release dates, right? So like cool. I definitely think that release date in and of itself was the bigger moment. And I think the other thing that I think does kind of count against Life of Pablo as being a big moment was the Tidal release.
Yeah,
that's fair. Like making it exclusive to Tidal and making it so like I think that put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. I think the fact that Tidal was so expensive, you know, I think we can all agree with the general mission statement of Tidal and all these different versions of this. Whether, you know, of like, hey, let's do streaming, but pay artists better. Like, I think we could all agree that that's a good thing. But I think overall, the Life of Pablo being used as, to be frank, like bait for this new product and not finished. I think the combination of that is a stain on the legacy that like just Yeezus doesn't have.
Stem player before the stem player.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess a big part of it also is that I think Kanye, at least for me, and it's impossible for me to separate these two things. Like the album itself is very influential, but I think that just where like Kanye's position within culture at the time, outside of just music, also for me is like something that I personally can't escape or decouple. No. So I think that's a big part of like how I feel about it. Like the emerging partnership with Adidas, it was announced in 2013, but we started getting actual products in 2015 and 2016. You saw this like legendary merch that was just fucking everywhere. People were making fakes of the merch. Jerry Lorenzo was a big part of it. Yeah, it was just like
it was crazy.
You had people who didn't listen to Kanye dressing in Pablo merch and like Justin Bieber tour merch that was made by Jerry Lorenzo and shit like that.
And I still see bootleg Pablo merch everywhere.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where it's like that was such a pop culture moment for people outside of hip hop that I think that's why for me it's like that's the bigger, like more influential album. But because the album did technically spur all of that on. Yeah. It's just I do think Yeezus is a much better project.
I guess my thing is that like I think jury's out on whether or not that was a good thing.
Sure, yeah, 100%. Yeah. But I think it was just a huge moment.
And like that will be left in Isaac's hands to decide.
Right.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. I don't think that was a good thing. Like, I do think Life of Pablo was like, you know, kind of the start of the degradation of like the gatekeepers, which like has benefits for sure, but it also has like the negative side effect of like, well, now culture
is repercussions of that.
There's repercussions of that. And I do think Life of Pablo was a huge step in the wrong direction. Even if I do ultimately like that album. Like, it has Fade. Like, of course I like that.
It's got
Kanye house music. Of course I like that album.
It's pretty good.
Deanna Taylor's in the video? Oh my God.
Watch that video a lot.
The video.
Watch it more now. Like,
should we pivot off of Kanye and go to his good friend? Or do you have one?
Oh no, I have his good friend. I have a great pivot for this. Because I think this is a rock paper scissors.
I was gonna toss one up.
Yeah, no, Kid Cudi has an album that came out both years, and
he does.
That is Indicud and Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying.
It's true.
I feel like, don't get me wrong.
One sent him to rehab.
Jasper, fight back. Jasper, fight back.
Yeah, like first off, like I don't think we should discount the fact that like 2013 was a good year for Kid Cudi and 2016 wasn't. Like,
yes, important.
And and I've made my opinion on Passion Pain and Demon Slayer known. I do not.
It's better
it.
live than it is.
Yeah, it was better
album.
live, 100%.
Yes.
But I think
Yes.
that says more about Kid Cudi than it does about the value of that or the quality of that
Yeah.
project.
I forfeit my argument, Jasper. Please.
But like, look, it's not his worst project. It's certainly an uptick, and
Yes.
certainly like an important, like linking, like an important stepping stone to get to like the
It was a
newer
growth
Kid
moment.
Cudi that is very, very good. The Kids See
Yeah.
Ghosts, the Man
So
on the Moon
that's
3.
that's what I want to talk about when you
But one, I think Indicud is just such a better album in
And it's more significant because this is his first album on his own,
100
away from good music.
I agree with that. I agree with that, but I do think
I think that is important.
I agree with that because if he never stepped away from good music, we never would have gotten like all the weird experimentation which led to the rebuild, right?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like, listen, I've been very vocal about the fact that I think Kid Cudi has some bad projects, and I don't think you get there without like I don't think you get to the 2018 to 2021 Kid Cudi, which I think consistently put out pretty stellar projects, without like that era of experimentation, which I think was also clearly better for him as an artist, whether or not I personally like the music. So I think Indicud is more substantial in that regard. But also, I do think this is an example where I do think the quality difference is so massive that I do think that on its own. I mean, you have a legendary Kendrick Lamar feature on this. You have absolutely insane like guest choices, like having
music
A$AP Rocky
videos
and
like
Michael
crazy.
Bolton. You have iconic songs like King Wizard, right? Like it does feel.
Yeah,
I think where a lot of like Kid Cudi's independent stuff started to feel like, oh, he's trying to do a bunch of different things. This felt like, oh, he's finally able to be fully Kid Cudi.
He's finally able to be himself.
Yeah, this is the one that, like, everything else felt like Kid Cudi, like doing dress up. This felt like him being himself. So I think in pretty much every way, I think this album subsedes it.
I feel like that all came before he was even experimental, though, because Indica led into all the weird stuff that
Sure,
majority of us do not enjoy. But I do agree. I think it's a better album. I'm not gonna lie. I do think it's a better album.
yeah.
But I do think.
But we're not
Yeah.
debating on
year-
better. Like
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
I think
yeah.
that was
it's
the
not a-
smartest move we made with this episode.
it's not. Yeah, I think like we said, yeah, I think we can all agree Indicud is the better album. Although, and I think all those points are super valid. The one thing I would say about Passion Pain is that in terms of talking about the rebuild, that album is a super important, I guess, a
This
turning
is the
point.
rebuild.
Yeah, it's a super important point of like that's the turning point of his career in terms of what does everything look like after that. You might recall the beef with Kanye over Twitter and how they were at odds for a long time prior to Cudi going to rehab. And during that time, Life of Pablo featuring Cudi on it was this huge fucking deal. And Kanye was out at shows saying like, pray for Kid Cudi. He's in rehab right now, but he's got like the #1 song in the country. Here it is. And he would like play it. And it's like without Passion, Pain, and Demon Slayer and Cudi going to rehab, you don't get them reconnecting, specifically like we saw in 2017 at the Passion, Pain, and Demon Slayer show. And without that, you don't get.
Yeah,
Kids
we
See
were there
Ghosts.
for that.
We don't
Yeah.
get
Jasper
Kids
was
See
also
Ghosts.
there. It's a weird.
I was there.
It's a weird Rashomon moment.
It's
November 4th,
weird way
2017. Yeah.
We all saw each other that day, and we
I
don't
also
know why.
Yeah.
we also ranted the Purvis that day.
Yeah.
We
It's a
all
weird
saw each
moment.
other that day.
Everyone
and
did.
I was
didn't know.
there.
We were all
And-
there.
and-
Yeah.
You don't, without that moment of Cudi going to rehab and putting out this album from a really dark and tortured place and then stepping away and having the time to figure things out, you don't have him and Kanye talking again in the same way. And then you don't get projects like Kids See Ghosts, which is just like
Yeah.
such a fucking moment.
I agree that like every step along the way, it's just that like, so like I agree. I don't think anything you said was like crazy or silly, but is it the turning point though? Or was the turning point Kids See Ghost? I can understand the argument. Oh, you don't get the Kids See Ghost without this. Like you don't get from Speeding Bullet to Kids See Ghost without Passion, Pain, and Demon Slayer. I can respect that, but like, seems to me like Kids See Ghost was the turning point, and Passion, Pain, and Demon Slayer was just a necessary bump on the road. And like, listen, I don't think that if you like it, I don't think it's the worst album. I think there are some good songs on it. But to me, it sounds like you're making an argument as to why Kids See Ghost is that album, not this one.
Yeah, I guess I'm saying it's like it's part of the growth trajectory, and it's one that, it's an era that I think people tend to overlook in terms of how it impacts Cuddy's artistry generally. That's like my main thing. It's like, yeah, it's the Kanye connection, but it's also the fact that you have these songs that take on this like new sound. It's not quite pop. It's not quite necessarily hip hop all of the time. Like these songs exist on other projects, but they're not executed to the same quality at all. And you see that over and over again. Like you've got rap and rock elements on what is it? 2014. The
what's it? No, Satellite Flight.
So yeah, Satellite Flight, Journey to Mother Moon. So like stuff like that. I enjoy that project, but you start to see the kind of the teasings of that become actualized in a full length project that's actually, got a fair number of songs on it that really have held up and stand the test of time. You've got an excellent Travis Scott feature on Baptized in Fire. You've got Frequency, which is this crazy opener with a wild video.
Surfing
is a banger. Adidas picked that up to use it in commercials at the time. That shit was crazy. And you even got like deeper cuts like Swim in the Light and like slower stuff like Releaser that, even though they're not like pop ready hits, they very much like put you in the space where he was in at the time. And it's like you get that kind of experience into like why his artistry is shifting, I guess.
I guess to me, like, a lot of that is just very subjective. I think Baptized in Fire is one of his worst songs. Like
this is going to be the hardest test for Isaac because he loves Kid Cudi.
I know, but
I'm honestly curious.
We're not anti-Kid Cudi here. Like we're not debating Kid Cudi. Yeah. It's just like
I'm just curious which one he would actually pick between the two because I'm thinking about it now, like comparing each album.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think Indica is quality wise better.
Yes, agreed.
Okay.
I got one. Unless Purvis, you want to go?
Go ahead.
I think it's their turn actually.
Wait, who said Kid Cudi? Was it you or?
No, I did. I cut.
Oh, my bad. All right, yeah, no, go ahead.
I mean, it was kind of technically both Jasper or Purvis and Brandon.
Yeah,
so
it kind of was. It's Jeff's turn actually.
Go, Jeff.
Okay, Jeff, let's hear it.
I'm do it.
Okay,
we're going with Because of the Internet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the best album from 2013.
Versus Awakened by Love,
which is
2016.
Which is a great album. An album I have found myself defending a weird amount, considering how good it is. But come on,
Jasper, I'm not gonna lie. They can have argue.
I mean,
because the internet.
Because the internet, right? Like
one thing, yeah.
I think you could definitely make the argument that Awaken My Love did more for Childish Gambino as like a name, as like a thing, and like certainly like we would not have gotten to Bando Stone without that step.
Because because the internet is the beginning. Is also like we also wouldn't get Bando Stone without because of the internet.
Bando Stone is the most similar to Because of the Internet than any other of his projects.
Yeah, and this is his first album with him leaving Community and taking like full time and investing into.
It's so insane to go back and watch like the season 3 of Community and like the Chaos Theory episode and like the Pillows and Blanket, like and think like, oh, he's working on Because of the Internet, like while he's not.
That's insane.
Yeah, so
he had to have crazy influence on.
And then like honestly, I do just think this album just has some of the best songs from Childish Gambino's entire career. I think Telegraph Ave, 3000,
his whole discography.
Right, like. Don't get me wrong, Awaken My Love is great, but like I think we all know what the better project is. The hottest take on this podcast, possibly ever, was me saying I think Because the Internet is better than all 3 Man on the Moon albums, which I do. Like
that was a very hot take.
Degeneracy.
No,
I
agree. And the thing about Because the Internet is I think the true counter to Because the Internet is not Awaken My Love. I think Because the Internet has proven itself to be like the highest expression of art from this area of music from this time period, because it has become a prophecy. Like, look at how much stuff Because the Internet talks about and like in its substance, in its critique of internet culture in 2013, that has come to fruition, that is now unignorable. The things that made Donald Glover sound crazy on that album are now on the news and have been for years. right? This is art at the highest level, and this is expression at the highest level, and it's like creation at the highest level. So yeah, I love this project. It's one of my favorite projects of all time.
Hey, you got it up.
No.
For me, I don't have much of an argument. I do like Awaken My Love a lot, and I think it's more.
He does a great job with funk.
Sound,
he does a
but-
great job in funk.
Awaken My Love, like, put Gambino on the map as like people taking him more serious.
Yeah.
Because the internet should have been.
Yeah.
Well, it's that, and it's also, I think, very much kind of similar to, not the same, but similar to what we said about The Life of Pablo. It's the time where Gambino encounters mass public appeal outside of hip hop.
Mhm.
And that was very evident to me when I went to the Awaken My Love tour, and you could really tell who was there for like the Gambino, like the rap Gambino, and who was there for the funk Gambino, and they were very distinct crowds. And that's just one of those things where it's like, whether or not we like it, someone getting put on the map through an album like that, it is hugely influential. I don't think it's in the context of society life as a whole, especially like American general culture. I do think Awaken My Love is more impactful at scale, but in the industry, in the community, and like just in hip hop culture itself, I mean, because the internet has no rival, 100%. It's just it depends on the lens you're looking at it through. So I would say, like, for the sake of this podcast, I would agree. Because the internet.
Hell yeah.
Should we pull our trump card since they pulled theirs?
I have a counter. It's not going to work, but I have something.
Do you know which one I'm going to say?
Yes, I do.
2016 has a couple.
I think I know what you're talking about.
I'm just going to say Blonde.
I knew it was
Blonde.
I knew
there's
it was Blonde.
nothing you can say.
Yeah, well, we don't have a Frank Ocean album because it's only 3 years apart. Like
2012 is Channel Orange.
Yeah, but like in between these time frames, this is when Odd Future started blowing up.
Yeah.
Like everyone from Odd Future, because in our year we had Earl Sweatshirt and we had Tyler drop an album.
Yeah, I do want to talk about that. That Tyler album is probably the closest thing to our response, because we've always talked about how there's old and new Tyler. And like Tyler is the
best of old Tyler.
This is the best. We have the best of old Tyler, right?
Yeah.
And like, look, I'm gonna keep it real. I know that this doesn't compare to Blonde, but like nothing does.
It's a damn good album.
But that's my thing though, is that like what does, right? Unless we were gonna pick 2020 and pick unless we were gonna go to 2020 and pick After Hours exclusively to counter Blonde, like
exclusively.
Like,
well, you know what?
We're not like that's a bad drafting. So yeah, I just admit that, like, yeah. So, but I do think in terms of like R&B and injecting new sounds into R&B, I do think there was a huge mainstream release that, look, I'm gonna admit it, I don't like as much as Blonde. I don't think it's as good as Blonde, but I think has elevated certain people, and that's Electric Lady by Janelle Monáe.
Oh yes, classic.
Yeah, like I think, look. Does it beat Blonde? I don't know.
Probably not.
But is it nothing? No. Electric Lady was a huge shot in the arm to like female-led R&B and soul, because that stuff gets so bogged down by pop music all the time, even some of Janelle Monáe's stuff.
I mean, this album helped her. And this helped her get her a lot of
This album gave us Janelle Monáe, essentially, who I think is, on an artist level, comparable to Frank Ocean.
Okay, I have a question.
That is a take, but I'll allow it.
Yeah, I think on an artist level, like I don't think any of the individual projects of Janelle Monáe, except for Age of Pleasure, I really liked Age of Pleasure, but like I don't think any of them come close to Blonde, but I think Janelle Monáe comes close to Frank Ocean.
Can I give you something that could compare then, just to be even?
Oh, I know exactly who you're gonna go with, but yeah.
What do you think I'm gonna say? I'm just curious.
You're gonna go with Rihanna's Auntie, aren't you?
That was in the chamber, but I wasn't gonna go. It was in the chamber. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean that is one, and there's not really much to compare with that. But I was thinking R&B, A Seat at the Table by Solange. I think it is comparable.
Yeah, I think that is comparable to Janelle Monáe. I would just say that I do think, in fairness, I think Janelle Monáe, in terms of just like cultural impact, has superseded like Solange. To be honest with you, Janelle Monáe is like the example of an artist I give when I'm like, when people talk about how big Beyonce is, and it's like, I have no problem with how big Beyonce is. I just think there are other artists that should be as big as Beyonce, and Janelle Monáe is who I say.
Shockingly,
right? Especially because and having seen her live twice, which is something you'll never be able to say about Frank Ocean. Like,
yeah, you're not wrong.
It's like seeing a unicorn.
Like honestly, and I'm gonna twist this into a positive, but like Janelle Monáe at the end of her Age of Pleasure tour came off the stage and complimented people's outfits for, I shit you not, 22 minutes.
That's hilarious.
That's amazing. Love that.
We had to leave. We were like, we're too high and tired. We can't sit here and watch her like compliment people's outfits anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
that's funny.
So yeah,
2016 was big for R&B. So yeah, that's tough. We had Solange, we had Auntie, we had Blonde, we had Here by Alicia Keys. It was a lot. We had a lot for R&B. I'm not gonna lie.
Here is an underrated album. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. And our biggest ones in R&B were definitely Beyonce. If you count Justin Timberlake, I think that's much more just like R&B flavored pop.
Yes,
it was very good.
We had Bruno Mars, 21K Magic to compete with that.
That's very pop.
24K Magic. Yeah.
I like that album. I think that's extremely pop.
It's very pop.
Yeah,
it's very pop.
I would say that's not even R&B.
That's fair. Yeah,
and like the only reason you can tie in Justin Timberlake is because him and Jay-Z have a song together and they toured together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so real quick, because neither of us have a Kendrick Lamar album.
We have a Kendrick Lamar album.
Untitled Unmastered, baby.
Oh, Untitled Unmastered. Oh, fuck. I keep forgetting about Untitled Unmastered.
I was keeping that in the chamber, too.
I always feel like it feels like whenever I listen to that, it feels earlier than 2016. It's just
it does. Because all the songs were made.
I associated with To Pimp a Butterfly.
It feels 2014, yeah.
Okay, well.
Well, I mean, we had A$AP Rocky and A$AP Ferg.
We have A$AP.
We had A$AP Mob.
Yeah. we have Ferg too. Yeah, Always Strive and Prosper.
Yeah.
I was going
to bring up though that we have the last objectively good Drake album.
You're right.
We have the last objectively good.
There's
Drake
no debate to be had.
Is better than that.
No, shut up.
Nothing was the same.
Views is not better than Nothing Was.
I don't think it's his best
like
album. I still think Take Care is his best album, and I think what's it called? The If You're Reading This, It's Too Late.
That's his best hit.
I think that's also very good, but it's not as conceptual. It's not as swinging for the fences as Nothing Was the Same, right? Like Nothing Was the Same.
This is so legendary.
Honestly, I'm gonna say this.
Wu-Tang Forever is.
I don't like Nothing Was the Same though.
I think
Wu-Tang
it really
Forever
was
on this.
like the best possible response to Good Kid, Mad City Drake could have ever done. Like it was his like game to lose. And on top of that, we also have because I don't think you guys do. Never mind. So yeah, no, that's my one right now. Because I'm thinking about because then we have another artist who dropped both years that I'm pretty confident in.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Wait, now I feel like I don't know what you're talking about.
No, because my favorite song's on that album, but I've been
Thank you, J. Cole. I was about to say, really?
J. Cole. My favorite. Look, Neighbors is my favorite J. Cole song, and it's on the album from 2016. But Born Sinner is the better album. That's J. Cole's worst album.
I'm not gonna lie, Born Sinner is my favorite J. Cole album. But For Your Eyes Only is probably his most significant personally.
I think it's his most.
Really,
I think it's his least significant album.
Really?
Look at how many songs he
personally.
How many times? I think it's his most personal album. I think that can be true. I don't think that makes it his most significant. Look at how many songs he plays off of it when he does it live.
Nothing. I get that.
So this made J. Cole a household name. Granted, it's a little bit more pop. Neither of these are my favorite J. Cole album, but I think this easily laps. Born Sinner easily laps. For Your Eyes Only.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, I don't know. We both had J. Cole in this round.
We do.
Yeah.
I have someone you don't. West Side Gun.
Yeah, you do.
My God.
Yeah.
You got Denzel Curry.
That was a big one.
Yeah, we have Denzel Curry's first project.
You do have Denzel Curry's.
Yeah.
We have Danny Brown.
So do we.
I'll take Atrocity Exhibition
over Old. Yeah, personally. But this is once again. I think this is the opposite of our Yeezus Life of Pablo situation.
Okay.
Right, because I agree. Like I'm gonna do what Jasper did.
Both albums are good. They're both good.
Oh, I think Atrocity Exhibition is easily the better album. 100%. But I think it's a very similar kind of situation where I think Old was like the thing that pushed him into like the mainstream a little bit more, right? Because you had Triple X, which is what happened when he turned 30, and then which like got him a lot of like underground attention, which turned him from like the guy who sends LP unfinished songs to like a guy who releases projects, and then you had Old, which made him a thing, right? So like I don't disagree that Atrocity Exhibition is the better project, but I think Old that's how I found Danny Brown. That's where he really started to bubble in like the middle ground. You know, like
I mean, this was his first album off being from the 2012 XXL freshman class.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just saying the Cypher's a big deal. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, but we definitely have the better roster.
What do you mean?
But if we want to compare freshman
like the freshman class,
yeah, we definitely have. I definitely think we have the better roster.
Who's on your roster again? 2013.
We got Schoolboy. We got
Joey
Trinidad James.
Yeah, I just remember.
Absol, Logic, and Logic was just coming off his Young Sinatra series.
Chief Keef, Travis Scott,
Action Bronson.
2013 is 2016. I think is big because it's basically a meme at this point. I think I even like 2017 better. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
I like that 2016 freestyle. I think that's great.
That's what I'm saying.
But the thing is that like that's also like a fraction of the class though. Like we had like I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that Trinidad James and Angel Hayes are like stars, but like I think we definitely.
Is he right? He's not a star.
Yeah, but I definitely think we have had the better careers come out of this. And once again, I'm a Denzel Curry stan, right? And he was in 2016.
I mean, the best careers out of us is Anderson .Paak, Denzel Curry, 21, and Uzi. And Yachty, if you want to count him.
Yeah, and we have Schoolboy Q, Joey
and Kodak Black was arrested that year.
What? That has nothing to do with it.
He wasn't able to make really any music.
I guess that's fair. One thing, because I do want to focus on other events outside of music. I just want to cover the sports of 2016.
I did
because it's a lot.
I did not think about sports at all. This was about music exclusively to me.
I'm just saying we're saying why we think the year is just fun because the music does play into the other things. I'm just saying the music plays into the other things. It tapped into it.
Yeah.
When the Cubs won, that was a big deal.
If we're gonna do this, then you guys lose. If we're gonna play this game, you guys lose.
How so?
Because you guys elected Trump.
What do you mean, you guys? I didn't vote for that motherfucker.
2016 gave us Trump.
You don't have
a
year.
Right, the year you're defending in court, sir, to Judge Isaac. Like if we're counting things outside of music, you guys lose. Yes,
look,
the Cubs
Kobe retired that year. We had to. No, I don't care. I'll take Kobe if I had to take Donald Trump.
Hold on? Did your basketball come out in 2016?
What, say it again?
I don't think so.
Did your basketball 2017? All right, so we don't win. Yeah.
No, you don't.
We had the only way we win is if we get your basketball.
LeBron comeback. Just saying.
I did not look at sports at all.
Fair enough.
Okay.
All right.
It plays into it, but yeah.
Okay, Jasper, go.
All right, this is gonna be. I think we're kind of coming to an end here. I'm running out of things to talk about. My one that I'm gonna go with here is we got two projects from him this year actually, and I don't know if you two would have really a comparable, but Lil Uzi Vert breaking out early. We had the Lil Uzi Vert versus.
We had two projects from Action Bronson.
Yeah, that's our counter. Yeah, we had the Blue Chips 2 mixtape and Sab Stories.
You know, like no one's losing here.
No, I don't know.
That's
let me know when Bronson drops a pink tape. Like, let me know when Bronson.
Pink tape's not 2016.
We're talking about
2016. I know. We're talking about 2016. I'm just talking about which we're comparing those artists. Like let me know when we get a bad System of the Down cover from Action Bronson. Like,
hey, we had a future project we haven't even brought up.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I know. We have a bunch of projects we haven't even brought up. We had the first huge Freddie Gibbs project.
Oh, it was a good project.
Yeah, we had that. We also, I don't know.
We had Absol. We had Vince Staples, Isaiah Rashad, Boz. Travis Scott, we didn't even talk about.
Birds in the Trap. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got the better Weekend album, in my opinion.
We don't have a Weekend. Oh, we have Kiss Land. Yeah, definitely. You guys won that.
Yeah.
I didn't even count that because I hate Kiss Land.
I was gonna say, I feel like we won that one.
That's like one of the most disappointing. One of the most disappointing debut albums of all time. The only thing is that he did what Chance couldn't and released a follow up. Like,
lol.
He did. We got an Anderson .Paak Malibu.
Yeah, you know, like.
What else have you brought up that you didn't bring up since we're coming towards the end? Since we're just
we're wrapping this up. I think our biggest one that we have left on the table is probably the big solo debut of Pusha T with My Name Is My Name. That was a classic project. I think it redefined hardcore hip hop. Like going into that, like I really don't think you get like the popularity of a Freddie Gibbs I talk a lot now about how I think like. Contrary to like political, like popular belief, especially by old heads, like I don't think we're in an era. I think lyrical hip hop is actually more popular than it has been in about 10, 15 years. And I think Pusha T kind of bridging the gap between like the Kanye West lane and like something a lot more lyrical is a huge reason for that. Sure. You also have a West Side Gun.
We also had Marshall Mathers LP 2. We had I Am Not a Human Being 2. We had Maybach Music Group put out their album.
Yeah.
And we had Vince Staples' mixtape Initiative.
That was
we had a Vince Staples.
Yeah, Vic Mensa's in a tape mixtape.
Or Vic Mensa's. Yeah,
his debut
I don't know why I said Vince Staples.
Which was huge. We did have a Vince Staples mixtape.
And
I'm going to say it because I'm annoying. Big Crit. We had Kings Remembered in Time.
That is a good album.
Which I'm going to say it. This is a better mixtape than other mixtapes we've talked about this week. Like
we also had Travis Scott's Owl Pharaoh.
Classic. I love it.
Yeah.
Owl Pharaoh.
Yeah, Owl Pharaoh. That very good album.
Travis Scott is better.
I don't know. I mean, I would. Okay, I actually do agree.
I was gonna say I will pull up tape of your old recording.
I do agree. But like. I have always said, like, Birds in the Trap is easily Travis's worst project.
Worst album, yes.
Worst album, for sure, by a country mile.
Yes.
You know, like...
We got Big Baby Dram. Fuck out of here.
Oh, shit. Broccoli is a big one. Broccoli
That's what I'm saying. We had Broccoli.
Yeah.
We had Black Beatles. That was a whole moment.
Yeah, you guys had a better singing, for sure.
Low Life, Future in the Weekend.
I do love
Chill
that song.
Bill.
Shut the fuck up.
Come on.
Shut the fuck up.
Yo, we got Bad and Bougie in 2016.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We got 23.
Yeah.
From Mike Will.
Yeah, we got Versace though.
We also got Versace.
Yeah, we got Versace, the Drake remix. You wouldn't have Bad and Bougie.
You got a Drake remix.
The Versace Drake remix. Don't you dare pretend that you didn't like that at the time, Purvis. Don't you dare pretend that you don't like the Versace Drake remix.
All right. If we're getting close to close it out here, I just want to run through a couple of albums that came out that are not in our wheelhouse of like what we normally discuss, just for context. We're putting this all out there, Isaac. If you're gonna do any research, go crazy. But like some things that I put together. What my favorite Green Day album outside of American Idiot, Revolution Radio, Death Grips Bottomless Pit, Wilco Schmilko, Metallica's Hardwired to Self-Destruct, Blood Orange, Freetown Sound, Mitski's Puberty 2, Bon Iver's 22 a Million, classic project.
But we have, if we're talking about stuff outside of the realm, this actually I think fully counts.
Go through your
let me do this, because this I think fully counts as in the realm of this podcast, just not in the realm of hip hop. We have Random Access Memories.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you automatic. Yeah.
Random Access Memories. We have AM by Arctic Monkeys, which I think is awesome.
That's a good album.
Certified,
okay, no one else on this podcast listens to it, but we had Sunbather, which is like an incredibly influential death metal album. We had
Avicii True.
Avicii.
I fucking love that album. That was one of my first tours I ever went to.
Good album. Good album.
So I think between Random Access Memories, Arctic Monkeys, I think we have a huge. We also have Lord's Pure Heroin, which is one of my favorite pop albums of all time.
Yeah.
That was another one that I was looking, because I knew I liked that album and I was trying to remember it.
The other things that we have that are like adjacent are Francis and the Lights, Farewell Starlight, which not like the best album, but really influential for someone like Chance. Like a big part of Coloring Day or the Coloring Book is based around that project.
And No Name dropped an album.
Yeah.
Attached to Chance.
Car Seat Headrest, Teens in Denial, one of the top albums of the year. And my personal most impactful from everything that we're talking about that's not hip hop, David Bowie, Black Star.
Yeah.
That's just like heavy, but yeah. Also Leonard Cohen, You Want It Darker, which is like also up there in the same vein.
Yeah. So yeah.
Ironic enough, we also had a David Bowie album.
Yeah, we had a David Bowie album too. No.
Yeah.
I'm closing out with...
It's just not as good as Black Star.
The next day. No. Oh, no.
It's not as good as Black Star.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I would like to say we're going to close off. Our conclusion is that Gucci Mane got out of jail. And that was the end of Fat Gucci. That is our closing.
I'm gonna put this out there. Our last thing, and it's outside the realm of hip hop, but I think it counts because I know it personally affected everyone in this chat. And that was, we have the release of Grand Theft Auto 5.
Nice. Okay.
I'm gonna say we have nothing. We have like the release of
I can't bring up
Overwatch.
sports, but you can bring up video games.
Because we all watch video, because we all play video games. Like
we all play sports.
No, we don't.
We all watch sports
sometimes. Like, all right.
So at this point,
Destiny is in Isaac's hands.
But for all of our listeners out there, if you're really watching this on YouTube, smash like, hit subscribe, leave us a comment. Which year do you think is more impactful and why? And if you're on Spotify, go ahead and leave us a little podcast review. Tell us what you think in there as well. We'll see it on our site here.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Should we drop some recommendations and wrap it up?
Yes, absolutely.
Hard mode only recommends songs from these 2 years.
No.
Oh, Jesus. I'm not ready.
He said no.
No.
I was not ready for this.
I have a thing I'm doing. Well,
go crazy.
Oh, yes, he has a bit.
No, I actually don't have a bit. My first one
is kind of a bit.
Yeah. My first one's annoying. It's this song. It is stuck in my head. I'm calling it the new Ski Yee. It is Freaky T by Tia Corinne, the girl on.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah, do you know Freaky T? That song goes.
That song bangs.
The song bangs.
Yeah.
Call me Freaky T. It's so good.
I think Freaky T might have been before Ski.
Maybe.
Was it?
Yeah, maybe. I think so. Yeah. I'm hearing it now because I got into Tia Corinne from the Denzel project.
I got you.
I'll go next. I'm going with a song you guys probably haven't heard it. This is came out probably 2017 ish. It's 1999 by Viceroy. It came across my playlist. It's just a classic song. Reminds me of my childhood.
Awesome.
Oh yeah. Okay. I like that.
Love that.
Growing up in the 90s, it's a good song.
We're 90s babies. Jasper, do you want me to go?
I can go.
Go ahead.
My first one, I'm picking off a project from our list. I'm doing Do What I Want by Lil Uzi Vert, opener to the Perfect Love tape, and the song that first turned me on to Uzi ever, because I didn't know who he was until Magnificent Coloring Day, and he opened with this, and I was like, who the fuck is that?
Wow. Yeah. Literally the same.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. That's how I was introduced to
it was that, and he did that, 7 a.m., and then like a couple others that I was like, who is this guy? And I had to dive deep, and now I'm a huge fan. So
it is insane how many events we've all been to together before knowing each other.
Collective experience.
And literally had the exact same reaction. Like, who's this person?
Yeah.
But my first song, we've always talked about how Young Thug essentially birthed Gunna and Little Baby.
Yeah,
and
they burst out of his head like Dionysus and Zeus, or Artemis and Zeus.
Yes. It is literally the yin and yang. The one song, it's not their only song altogether, but their best song, I think, that they all are together is on Gunna's album, Oh Okay. That song bangs. Pinstripe Gucci My Pants bangs. I don't care. It's so good. So that's my first song.
That's good. That's really good. All right, I'm going to do my last one. This one is kind of a bit, but it was just kind of a thought I was having while I was high. So this is a song. It's a classic song to me. It's a deep cut by I don't know if it's a deep cut, but it's not a single or anything from one of our favorite artists. And I was listening to it the other day, and I'm like, damn, this goes so hard. don't know if you could release it today, even though it's not that bad. And then my thought was, man, if a female artist could take this beat and do something with it, I think it would be a huge cultural moment. So I'm recommending Lucky Ass Bitch by Mac Miller. With nice. Juicy J. Yeah, it's like one of those songs, but like it's a Mac Miller song, so it's not like that depraved, but it is depraved, like, you know? And I'm like, damn, could you imagine if like Tia Corinne or Manello fucking remix this song?
It would go crazy.
I think that would be a moment.
Mac Miller is the one person that I will never forgive myself for not seeing live.
Oh my god, dude.
So
I wish I would have seen him later in his career, but yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
So I'll go next. My next one's gonna be Brockhampton, 1999 Wildfire.
Oh, that song's great. Jeff, do you remember when I gaslit you into liking Brockhampton in the summer of 2018?
Yeah, and I gaslit everyone else around me into liking Brockhampton.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
I might have played into that.
Yeah, we all did. God, if there's an artist I wish I could go back in time and take people to see, it would have been like it would have been Brockhampton. They were
that summer.
I wish I was able to see them.
Yeah, dude.
We saw them twice.
Yeah.
Once on a balcony. Oh,
one of the best moments. We hung out with Brockhampton. We have an Instagram picture where they said like, we were like, yeah, we're the unpaid nobodies. We don't know what we're gonna do with that yet, and now here we are. Like
free podcast. Nice. All right, who's next? Is it Jasper?
Is it me again?
Yeah.
I'm going another 2016 song, one that I think has had personal and social repercussions, not on the same scale as Because the Internet, but I think that a lot of the things in this song have kind of come to pass in some interesting ways. That's Saint Pablo by Kanye, the closing track on The Life of Pablo. And just some of the things he talks about on this are kind of prophetic to the situation that he is in now, and also where we are culturally, 8 years later. I'd say a big part of that, like just one of the sections I want to leave you with. Most black men couldn't balance a checkbook, but buy a new car talking about how my neck look. It all looks great. 400 years later, we're buying our own chains. Light is before us, brothers, so the devil working hard. Real families stick together and see through the mirage. Smoke screens, perceptions of false reality. Who's the real owner if your boss gets a salary?
Amazing. We should all do socialism.
You should read the book I recommended at the beginning of this. I'm on the level right now. Like
Revolution now. It's going
you
to
should
be.
read Conquest of Bread. Read that. Like
fun.
Jesus Christ. All right. Well,
that's it.
Well, I got one more. I'm going to close this out with a banger.
Okay, close this out with a banger. Something I can play real loud to annoy my girlfriend.
Vice City J-Rock Black Hippie Remix.
Yes! That's exactly what I wanted.
Well, that's my guess, everyone. Good night.
Fun story. Quick 30-second story. The day of Lollapalooza, right before we went to go see Chapel Roan, like I was in bed and I heard Rachel playing the song That Part over and over again. And she's like, yeah, I love it, but I just don't like the Kanye part. Like, I just don't like it, even if it wasn't right. And I'm like, well, you know that there's a Black Hippie remix where there isn't, it's Kendrick and J-Rock instead of. And then she was like, what? And then that part, Black Hippie remix, just filled my apartment for 2 hours. Just
nice.
I had no control over
sweetie,
it.
No. Let me show you this.
Yeah. So yeah, it was right after we saw Schoolboy Q. I'm pretty sure it was the morning of Lollapalooza, right before Chapel Roan, where she was getting her outfit ready, just blasting that song on repeat. Very funny.
Nice.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week without me. I'll be in Pennsylvania, so I'll be sending in my thoughts with magazine clippings.
All right.
Bye.